In the year 3052, humanity had advanced beyond its wildest dreams. Cities stretched towards the heavens, glistening spires piercing the clouds. Hovercraft zipped through the sky, and artificial intelligences managed the mundane tasks of daily life. Amidst this technological marvel, an ancient darkness thrived, hidden from the public eye. Vampires, creatures of myth and legend, had adapted to this futuristic world, living among humans while carefully concealing their existence. Una Ashcroft stood on the balcony of her penthouse, overlooking the neon-lit cityscape of New Avalon. The air was crisp and cool, a pleasant change from the artificially controlled climate within her home. She took a deep breath, savoring the night air, her senses heightened as always. Una was not an ordinary human. She was a vampire, and one of the oldest still walking the earth. Her thoughts wandered back to a time when she was newly turned, centuries ago. She remembered the struggle to adapt to her new existence, the constant battle with her thirst for blood, and the loneliness that came with immortality. Yet, she had found solace in the company of others like her, creating a network of vampires who valued secrecy and coexistence with humans. As the centuries passed, Una's influence grew. She became a leader among her kind, advocating for a peaceful coexistence and strict adherence to the code of secrecy. The digital age posed new challenges, but also new opportunities. Una had embraced technology, using it to monitor and protect her kin. She had even created a sophisticated AI, named Vesper, to help maintain their hidden society. Vesper's voice interrupted Una's reverie. "Mistress Ashcroft, I have detected unusual activity in Sector 12. A series of disappearances have been reported, and there are signs of a rogue vampire." Una sighed. Rogue vampires were a constant threat to their delicate balance. Those who could not control their thirst, or who reveled in the hunt, endangered them all. "Send me the details, Vesper. I will handle it personally." "As you wish, Mistress," Vesper replied, sending the data to Una's neural interface. Una scanned the information, her sharp mind quickly piecing together the clues. The disappearances were clustered around an old part of the city, an area that had fallen into disrepair. It was the perfect hunting ground for a rogue. She equipped herself with a sleek, high-tech weapon designed to incapacitate rather than kill, and donned her dark cloak. Within moments, Una was gliding through the night sky, her enhanced abilities allowing her to move with supernatural speed and agility. She landed silently on the rooftop of an abandoned building in Sector 12, her senses on high alert. The scent of blood was faint but unmistakable. She followed the trail, descending into the bowels of the building. Anything. The inner circle dispersed, each member set on their task. Una gazed out over the city, her thoughts dark. The Nightborn were a dangerous threat, one that could unravel everything she had worked for. Alex moved through the crowded streets of the eastern districts, his senses alert. He had made contact with an informant, a vampire, who claimed to have insider knowledge about the Nightborn. As he approached the designated meeting place, a rundown tavern, he felt a prickle of unease. Inside, the tavern was dimly lit and filled with the scent of stale alcohol. Alex spotted his informant, a wiry vampire named Jackson, sitting in a corner booth. He slid into the seat across from him. "Jackson, what do you have for me?" Jackson leaned in, his eyes darting nervously around the room. "The Nightborn are gathering at an old warehouse near the docks. They've been recruiting heavily, promising power and freedom from the old ways." Alex's jaw tightened. "Who's leading them?" "A vampire named Lucian. He's charismatic, ruthless, and he's been preaching about a new world order. He's got a lot of followers." Alex thanked Jackson and left the tavern, his mind racing. Lucien was a name he had heard before, a vampire with a reputation for violence and ambition. He reported back to Luna, who immediately called a meeting. "We need to take Lucien down," Luna said, her voice firm. "But we can't risk an all-out confrontation. We need to gather more information and plan a precise." Sebastian's team, including Alex, infiltrated the warehouse district under the cover of night. They moved silently, their senses sharp as they approached the Nightborn's hideout. The warehouse was heavily guarded, but Sebastian had a plan. "We need to blend in," he whispered. "Act like we're here to join them. Once inside, we gather as much intel as possible and find a way to neutralize Lucien." The team donned disguises and approached the guards, who eyed them suspiciously. "We're here to join," Alex said, his voice steady. The guards exchanged glances before nodding and allowing them inside. The warehouse was a hive of activity, vampires training and preparing for something big. Alex and Sebastian split up, mingling with the crowd and gathering information. Alex found himself in a conversation with a young vampire who spoke excitedly about Lucien's vision. "He says we'll no longer have to hide. We'll be the rulers of this world." As the hours passed, Alex and Sebastian regrouped, their findings grim. Lucien was planning a large-scale attack on a human power plant, a move that would undoubtedly expose their existence. Back at the penthouse, Luna and her inner circle discussed their findings. "We can't let this happen," Luna said, her tone urgent. "If they attack the power plant, it will be catastrophic." Sebastian, a former soldier with unmatched combat skills, gave Alex a nod of approval. "Stick with us and you'll be fine." Marcus, a brilliant strategist and Luna's right-hand man, offered Alex a reassuring pat on the back. "We'll get through this together." Over the next few weeks, Alex underwent intense training and guidance. Luna personally oversaw his progress, teaching him techniques to control his thirst and manage his urges. It was a difficult process, filled with moments of frustration and doubt, but Alex showed remarkable resilience. One night, as Luna and Alex stood on the balcony overlooking the city, he spoke quietly. "I never thought I could do this." "Thank you, Luna." Luna smiled, a rare and genuine expression. "You've come a long way, Alex. I'm proud of you." As the months passed, Alex became an integral part of Luna's inner circle. He proved himself to be a valuable asset, using his knowledge of the streets to help track down and assist other rogue vampires. Together, they continued to uphold the delicate balance between their world and the human world, ensuring that their existence remained a secret. Despite the challenges, Luna felt a renewed sense of hope. The future was uncertain, but she was no longer alone in her quest for coexistence. With allies like Alex and her inner circle by her side, Luna knew they could face whatever came their way. And so, in the neon-lit city of New Avalon, the bloodlines of the future continued to thrive, hidden in the shadows but always vigilant, protecting their secrets and their way of life. Luna Ashcroft had been content with the delicate balance she had maintained between the vampire and human worlds. However, the peace was short-lived. Rumors began to spread through the vampire community of a new threat, a radical group of vampires who rejected the notion of coexistence and sought to dominate the human race. They called themselves the Nightborn. Luna stood at the head of a large table in her penthouse. Her inner circle gathered around her. Alex, now a trusted member, sat to her right, his expression serious. "We've received reports of Nightborn activity in the eastern districts," he said, his voice steady. "They've been attacking human facilities and leaving behind messages of rebellion." Isabella, the healer, frowned. If they continue, they'll expose us all. We have to stop them. Sebastian, the former soldier, leaned forward. We need to act fast and hit them where it hurts. We can't let them gain momentum. Marcus, Luna's strategist, nodded. Agreed. We need to gather more intelligence on their leaders and operations. We can't afford to go in blind. Luna listened carefully, her mind already formulating a plan. Alex, I need you to reach out to your contacts in the eastern districts. Find out where they're hiding and what they're planning. Sebastian, prepare a team for a reconnaissance mission. Isabella, continue monitoring any signs of human casualties. We need to be ready for. The basement was a maze of dark corridors, filled with debris and the stench of decay. Luna's eyes adjusted to the darkness, her enhanced vision allowing her to see clearly. She moved silently, her every sense attuned to the slightest sound or movement. She found him in a large, open space, feeding on a young woman who lay motionless on the floor. The rogue vampire was tall and gaunt, his eyes wild with hunger. Luna felt a pang of sorrow. He was clearly newly turned and had not yet learned to control his urges. Stop, Luna commanded, her voice cold and authoritative. The rogue vampire looked up, his fangs dripping with blood. He snarled, a feral sound that echoed through the room. Who are you to tell me what to do? He hissed. I am Luna Ashcroft, leader of the New Avalon Coven. You are endangering us all with your recklessness. The rogue vampire laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. I don't care about your rules. I'm hungry. Luna moved with lightning speed, closing the distance between them in an instant. She struck the rogue with a powerful blow, sending him crashing into the wall. He recovered quickly, launching himself at her with a snarl. Luna sidestepped his attack, using her weapon to stun him with a burst of energy. He collapsed to the floor, writhing in pain. Luna stood over him, her expression stern. You must learn control, or you will be destroyed. There is no other way. The rogue vampire glared up at her, his eyes filled with defiance. I don't want your help. Luna sighed. You may not want it, but you need it. Come with me. We can help you learn to control your thirst. Reluctantly, the rogue vampire nodded. Luna helped him to his feet, her grip firm but not unkind. She contacted Vesper, instructing the AI to send a transport to their location. As they waited, Luna spoke to the rogue in a softer tone. What is your name? Alex, he replied, his voice weary. Alex, you have a choice. You can learn to live among humans without harming them, or you can continue down this path and face destruction. What will it be? Alex looked at her, his expression conflicted. I don't know if I can control it. You can, Luna assured him. It will take time and effort, but you can. We all had to learn. You're not alone. The transport arrived and Luna guided Alex inside. As they made their way back to her penthouse, Luna's thoughts turned to the future. The world was changing rapidly, and her kind had to adapt or risk extinction. But as long as there were those willing to learn and coexist, there was hope. Back at her penthouse, Luna introduced Alex to her inner circle, a group of vampires who had dedicated themselves to maintaining the balance between their world and the human world. Each member of the circle had their own unique talents and abilities, and together they formed a formidable force. Isabella, a skilled healer, approached Alex with a warm smile. Welcome, Alex. We're here to help you. As the ritual concluded, Luna collapsed to her knees, gasping for breath. The amulet's power was overwhelming, but she could feel its strength coursing through her veins. Victor helped her to her feet. It is done. You are now bound to the amulet. Luna nodded, feeling a newfound sense of power and purpose. Thank you, Victor. We must return to New Avalon. Lucian won't wait. Back in New Avalon, Luna and her inner circle prepared for the inevitable confrontation with Lucian. With the amulet's power, Luna felt more confident than ever. However, she couldn't ignore the nagging sense of vulnerability the ritual had left her with. Alex, now a skilled strategist in his own right, had been gathering intelligence on Lucian's movements. We've tracked Lucian to an abandoned military base outside the city. He's been amassing an army of rogue vampires. Luna's expression hardened. We need to strike before he can launch an attack. Gather our forces. This ends now. As night fell, Luna's forces moved swiftly, surrounding the military base. The air was thick with tension as they prepared for battle. Luna stood at the forefront, the amulet glowing faintly against her skin. The battle was fierce and chaotic, a clash of fangs and claws in the moonlit night. Luna's forces fought valiantly, but Lucian's army was relentless. Luna faced Lucian once more, their powers colliding in a brutal exchange. Give up, Luna, Lucian snarled, his eyes blazing with fury. You can't win. Luna felt the amulet's power surging within her. I won't let you destroy everything we've built. With a final, desperate effort, Luna channeled the amulet's energy into a powerful blast, striking Lucian and sending him crashing to the ground. He writhed in pain, his body convulsing as the amulet's magic took hold. It's over. Lucian, Luna said, standing over him. You've lost. Lucian's eyes widened in fear and anger, before finally closing. The rogue vampires, seeing their leader defeated, fled into the night. The battle was won, but at a great cost. With Lucian defeated, the threat of the Nightborn was finally over. Luna's forces returned to New Avalon, battered but victorious. Luna herself felt the weight of the amulet's power and the sacrifices they had made. In the weeks that followed, Luna worked to rebuild and strengthen their alliances. Victor and his coven returned to Europe, promising continued support. Alex, Sebastian, Isabella, and Marcus remained by her side, their bond stronger than ever. One evening, as Luna stood on her balcony overlooking the city, Alex joined her. We did it, he said quietly. Luna nodded, a rare smile touching her lips. Yes, we did. But there will always be new challenges. We must remain vigilant. Months had passed since the battle on the bridge, and Luna Ashcroft had been tirelessly working to solidify alliances with other covens worldwide. The arrival of a delegation from a powerful European coven, led by an enigmatic vampire named Victor, brought a new dynamic to New Avalon. Victor stood in Luna's penthouse, his tall frame and piercing blue eyes giving him an air of authority. Luna, it's an honor to finally meet you, he said, his voice smooth. Our coven has heard much about your leadership and your stand against the Nightborn. Luna nodded, offering a polite smile. Welcome, Victor. We appreciate your support in these turbulent times. Victor's expression turned serious. Lucian is a formidable enemy. He was once part of our coven before he became radicalized. We must be prepared for his return, and we believe an ancient relic in our possession could tip the balance in our favor. Intrigued, Luna listened as Victor described the relic. A powerful amulet said to enhance a vampire's abilities and protect against mental manipulation. Luna knew that with such power, they could finally put an end to Lucian's reign of terror. Victor invited Luna and her inner circle to his coven's ancestral home in the Carpathian Mountains. As they journeyed to the remote location, Luna couldn't shake the feeling that something more profound was at play. The ancestral home was a sprawling Gothic castle, its towering spires piercing the misty sky. Victor led them to a hidden chamber deep within the castle, where the amulet was kept. The chamber was filled with ancient texts and artifacts. They are thick with history. Victor carefully lifted the amulet from its resting place and handed it to Luna. This amulet has been in our coven for centuries. It was created by one of the first vampires to harness the power of the night. With it, you'll have the strength to face Lucien. Luna felt a surge of energy as she held the amulet, a connection to the past and a promise of power. Thank you, Victor. This will be a great help. Victor nodded. There is, however, a cost. The amulet's power comes from a blood ritual that must be performed under the light of the full moon. It will bind the wearer to the amulet, but it will also make them vulnerable. Luna understood the risks but knew it was a necessary sacrifice. We'll prepare for the ritual. The full moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the castle's courtyard. Luna stood at the center of a ritual circle, the amulet around her neck. Her inner circle watched, their expressions a mix of concern and determination. Victor began the ritual, chanting in an ancient language. The air crackled with energy as the moonlight intensified, bathing Luna in its glow. She felt a sharp pain as the amulet's power surged through her, binding itself to her very essence. Marcus laid out a map of the city. We need to intercept them before they reach the plant. We can set a trap here. He pointed to a narrow bridge leading to the plant. It's the only way in and out. If we can block it, we can prevent the attack. Luna nodded. We'll need all our strength for this. Isabella, be ready to treat any injuries. Sebastian led the strike team. Alex, you'll coordinate from the ground. As dawn approached, Luna's forces moved into position. They waited in tense silence as the Nightborn approached, led by Lucien himself. The moment they stepped onto the bridge, Luna gave the signal. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Luna faced Lucien, their clash of power shaking the very ground beneath them. Lucien was strong, but Luna's centuries of experience gave her the edge. She disarmed him, but before she could deliver the final blow, he vanished into the night. The aftermath of the battle left Luna's forces battered but victorious. They had prevented the attack, but Lucien was still out there, a lingering threat. Luna knew this was only the beginning. As the sun rose, Luna addressed her inner circle. We did well, but we can't let our guard down. The Nightborn will regroup, and Lucien will return. We need to strengthen our defenses and continue gathering allies. Alex, despite his exhaustion, felt a sense of pride. They had faced a great threat and emerged victorious. But the war was far from over. Word of the Nightborn's defeat spread quickly through the vampire community. Many who had been on the fence about joining Lucien now saw Luna's strength and leadership. Vampires from other covens reached out, offering their support. One night, a delegation from a powerful coven in Europe arrived. The unity that had been forged through struggle and cooperation brought a new era of peace and prosperity. Vampires and humans coexisted more harmoniously, working together to build a brighter future. Luna stood on her balcony once more, looking out over the city as the sun rose. Her inner circle joined her, their faces reflecting the satisfaction of their hard work. Alex, Isabella, Sebastian, and Marcus had become more than allies, they were family. Alex placed a hand on Luna's shoulder. We did it, Luna. We've built something lasting. Luna smiled, her heart full of hope. Yes, we have. And it's only the beginning. As the first light of dawn bathed the city in a warm glow, Luna felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had faced immense challenges and emerged stronger. The future was filled with possibilities, and with the unity they had achieved, Luna knew they could face whatever lay ahead. And so, under the promise of a new dawn, Luna Ashcroft and her allies embraced the future with optimism and determination. ready to continue their journey of coexistence and growth, ensuring a world where all could thrive in harmony. Luna's team arrived at Ilara's Coven's hideout, an old but well-hidden sanctuary on the outskirts of New Avalon. They worked quickly to fortify the defenses, setting up barriers and surveillance to prevent further attacks. As they worked, Alex and Sebastian scouted the area, searching for any signs of the Wraith's faction. They discovered a hidden base not far from the Coven, where they found evidence of advanced weaponry and organized plans. The Wraith was clearly preparing for a large-scale operation. Luna gathered her inner circle to discuss their findings. The Wraith is planning something significant. We need to find out what and stop it before it's too late. Marcus suggested a daring plan. We could set up a decoy operation to lure them out. If we can capture the Wraith, we might be able to dismantle their organization. Luna agreed, and they set the plan into motion. They created a fake cache of valuable resources and set it up in a remote location. The hope was that the Wraith would be drawn to it, allowing them to capture him and gather crucial information. The plan worked. The Shadow's Embrace attacked the decoy site, and Luna's team was ready. The Wraith was a shadowy figure, his face obscured by a dark hood. In a fierce battle, Luna and her team managed to capture him, using their combined skills to overpower him without causing fatal harm. Back at the penthouse, the Wraith was interrogated. To their surprise, he revealed that he was not acting out of malice but rather desperation. His faction consisted of vampires who had been exiled or abandoned by their covens. They were seeking a new place in a world that had rejected them. Luna listened carefully. You're causing harm to innocent vampires and humans. If you want a place in this world, there are better ways to find it. The Wraith, whose real name was Adrian, was given a choice. He could work with Luna and her allies to rebuild and integrate the outcasts into society, or face destruction. Adrian, realizing the futility of his actions, chose to cooperate. With Adrian's help, Luna and her inner circle worked to integrate the outcasts of the Shadow's Embrace into existing covens. It was a challenging process, but Luna's leadership and Adrian's guidance helped ease the transition. The covens that had been targeted by the Shadow's Embrace began to recover, and a sense of unity started to emerge among the vampire community. Luna continued to foster alliances and support the vulnerable, ensuring that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. One evening, as Luna and her inner circle gathered to celebrate their success, Adrian approached Luna. "Thank you for giving us a chance. We want to make amends and build a better future." Luna nodded. "We all have a role to play in creating a better world. As long as we work together, we can overcome any challenge." Months passed, and New Avalon and its surrounding covens began to flourish. Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. "We're with you, Luna. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." As the city below thrived, and the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Luna felt a renewed sense of hope. They had faced great darkness and emerged stronger. The future was uncertain, but with her inner circle and the power of the amulet, she knew they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, under the light of a new dawn, Luna Ashcroft and her allies prepared for the future, ready to protect their world and their way of life, no matter the cost. In the aftermath of Lucine's defeat, New Avalon slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. The city's skyline gleamed brightly under a clear blue sky, a symbol of hope and renewal. Luna Ashcroft and her inner circle had earned a well-deserved period of peace, and they used it to strengthen their relationships and rebuild their community. Luna's penthouse had become a hub of activity, filled with discussions about future strategies, but also moments of relaxation and camaraderie. Alex had taken on a role as a liaison with other covens, fostering new alliances and strengthening old ones. Isabella had expanded her healing practices, using her skills to help both vampires and humans alike. Sebastian and Marcus worked on training and strategies, ensuring their forces were always prepared, but hoping they would never need to be. One evening, Luna hosted a gathering to celebrate their victories and the new alliances they had forged. The atmosphere was festive, with laughter and music filling the air. As Luna looked around at her friends and allies, she felt a deep sense of contentment. During the celebration, an unexpected visitor arrived at the penthouse. A young vampire named Elira. She was frail and visibly distressed, and she clutched a letter tightly in her hand. Luna approached her with concern. Elira, what's happened? Elira took a deep breath. I've come from the outskirts of the city. My coven has been attacked by a new faction of rogue vampires. They're not like the Nightborn. They're organized and they're targeting our vulnerable. Luna's expression hardened. We'll help. But first, let's hear the details. Elira explained that this new faction, calling themselves the Shadow's Embrace, was led by a mysterious figure known only as the Wraith. They had been targeting small covens, causing widespread fear and instability. Luna and her inner circle quickly mobilized. We need to protect the remaining covens and put an end to this new threat, Luna said. We'll start by fortifying Alara's coven, and then investigate these new attackers.